Hello. Welcome to this next episode on the second act. This is a series that I run, the channel on the second act, is to guide people based on my experience of living my second act. 30 years of corporate life. And then I decided to jump and chase my dreams at the age of 50. 10 years to go for retirement. I could have, played it safe and said, okay, let me wait for 10 more years. It's not a long time. Retire and then do whatever I want to do in life. But I decided to jump. Now it's been 11 years. And I share my personal experiences, my journey, my learnings, my failures from this second act that I have lived. So here is one question that I was asked last week by one of the persons from my community, which I run, called the Second Act. I have just moved out of the corporate world. And now what do I do? There's a lot of uncertainty. I yet have bills to pay. The paycheck is going to stop soon. And I yet have responsibilities. And this is real. Many people move out of choice, like I did intentionally. Even this person had moved out of choice. And a few people are eased out of the jobs, suddenly fired. And they don't know what has hit them and what to do, because it's not easy to find jobs in this market. And especially if you're over 40, it's very difficult to get a new job. So what does a person do? And I was taken back to an example of my own son. And I'm going to share from his journey, because it's an interesting one. When he started his journey in fashion photography, he wanted to become a fashion photographer. I don't know from where he came up with that, but he always loved photography, right from his school days. So he was passionate about it. So the first thing was that he was passionate about doing what he wanted to build as his career. But he had zero experience. He had done a course in communications, but it was not in photography. So he had absolutely no training in photography. So he self-learned, which means he used every channel that was available to him to learn. And then I remember he would do collaboration shoots. What do I mean by collaboration shoots is he would tie up with models, he would book the studios, and he would pay for the shoots. The next thing that he did was I saw him work with some of the best photographers in the industry, and he would do it for absolutely free. He would just go and hang around, support them, do whatever he was asked to do. And this went on for almost 2 years. So he was very clear that what he wanted to do, he was very focused about that. And then he self-learned the entire process of how to become a good fashion photographer. And there was a lot of pressure on him in that first 2 years because there was no income happening. His friends were getting placed, they were earning well, while here is a guy who's in his 20s, early 20s, and he's doing all this stuff, which is working for free, no income. He's rather putting money from his own pocket money. And then I remember the pressure was that, you can pick up wedding photography, for example, just to make that extra income till the time you are able to, reach what you want to do. But he refused to do that. He did it once, but very quickly he found out that's not what he's cut out for. That's not what he wants to do in life. So he did not pick up the shortcuts. He just focused. And he kept on putting out his work on social media. Not selling, organic, nothing was paid. And he got his first break, and after that first break, the next break happened. And somewhere on that early breaks, he started getting, there was the first celebrity that who shot with him, Isha Gupta. And that was his first celebrity shoot that he did. and that's how the whole thing started spreading. His work started, the quality of his work started spreading. So protecting the vision was the second part. That whatever his vision he held, he just did not divert from that. So look at it, the two steps. The first thing is he had zero experience, zero budgets, zero connections, and he was beginning from the scratch. He invested 2 years to learn, to do his work, to do it for free. And then he started putting it out on social media. And somewhere he found his break. And from that, the word of mouth spread. And the word of mouth spread because very clearly there was evidence before the opportunity happened. His quality of work, his stamp of work was very visible because he was very passionate about it, and he started building his own style. So Mayank Mudnani, that's his name, and you can Google and search his name and figure out, the kind of work that he has done. There was a style of work that he was doing. He would not compromise. So that is what attracted the slowly the brands to start working with him. The models started coming to him. He started getting fashion shoots. He started getting shoots from the magazines. He was covered by some of the leading magazine. He was there on the cover. His work was there on the cover. So there was evidence, and then there was consistent sharing of whatever he was doing. So that was what was kind of that whole compounding effect that happens as you keep on doing more work. And as I said, when this is happening, he had built a stamp, something which was unique, which was personal to him. His style of photography was absolutely, fascinating. It was something which he had built. That's his brand, right? That is the trademark or whatever you call it in this space. So if anybody is sitting on the saying, you don't have the budgets, you don't have the contacts, you don't know where you begin. So go back. Now, if you're in your 40s or 50s, you would have in hindsight, you have your 20, 30 years that you have put into the kind of work. People know you for something. That's your experience. Now you have to come back and invent yourself again for this new world, which is the one-person business, or as I call, or your second act, which you're working on. And there's a lot of learning from what I have just shared. The first thing is you need to invest. So when you're beginning again, you need to invest. You need to put in that effort. There might be days when you begin, you might have to work at low cost, at no cost. You need to do that. So as I said, figure out your focus area. Like he was clear. This is also, if I look at the term ikigai, it's very clear what he was good at. He was very clear about. It was clear he was good at photography. Right from the school days, he loved to photograph. Secondly, he had a very clear focus in terms of, does the world need this? Yes, there were people who needed this, and he stayed focused. He had the temptation to go into wedding photography, do this X and do Y. He stayed focused on what he wanted to do, and that's what you need to figure out. What is that focus? Then he invest in your own learning, invest in, if the world has changed and now you're in your 40s, 50s, you're coming out and you find that, AI is what is getting into your space. Have you created that cutting edge? Have you picked that up? Don't lose your stamp. That's your story, your style, your method is your brand, is something which you have built over the years. But then are you investing in that learning process that you're doing? If you're following these few steps, it might look to be tough. And I understand that there's this uncertainty because you're so used to that drug called paycheck, that consistent pay. But this is a model, a framework that I picked up from I have observed as a father very proudly, my son do, and I would say that it's a very beautiful model to look at. That invest, create the proof points, keep on learning, and create that stamp of yours, and then showcase your work, showcase what you're doing, and then the work starts flowing. Today his calendar is full. He doesn't need to go out and search for work, and he's built an intentional life. And this is something that I want you to leave with. If you're sitting in that place where you have either been fired after the age of 50, or if you have intentionally decided that this is enough and I want to chase my own dreams now, I would say that so this model has some learning which you can use. I personally have used some part of this model in my own journey after 50. So I invite you to do that for yours. How did you find? What are the pointers? I want to you know want you to share your thoughts in your in the comments below, and do subscribe to my channel, because I'm going to be spreading this idea of the second act, a powerful second act that you can follow from my own experience. I wish I had a mentor when I started. I want to be the mentor to as many people as I can. So this is what I wanted to share in this episode. Wish you all the best on your second act. Thank you.